So something else I wanted to get into here. Um, y'all remember this Forbes top 50 greatest rappers list? You remember that? We covered it earlier this year. Um, got to Jay Z, Kendrick Lamar, Lil Wayne, top three. Young Thug, Cardi B, Quali, bottom three. So what's happening is that it is going around the internet again. People think it's new again. So people are seeing it and freaking out about it all over again. This was posted on Monday by this My Mixtapes Twitter account. This thing's got 2 million views already, and people reacting to it. People reacting to it with their own rappers list. People reacting to the rankings. Why is Bad Bunny on there? We've gone through this already. We went through this months ago, right? And it's fucking fascinating and infuriating to me. Fascinating and infuriating. Like, it's going around Twitter, it's going around Reddit, all over again. Like we hadn't already gone through it. Jay-Z, Kendrick Lamar, Lil Wayne, J. Cole, Tupac, Drake, Kanye West, Nicki Minaj, Nas, Eminem, Andre 3000, Notorious Big, Missy Elliott, Chuck D, A$AP Rocky, Lil Kim, Tyler the Creator, Snoop Dogg, Ghostface Killer, Common, Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, DMX, 50 Cent, Ice Cube, MF Doom, Juice WRLD, Lauryn Hill, Dr. Dre, Queen Latifah, Mos Def, Busta Rhymes, Future, Childish Gambino, LL Cool J, MC Lyte, Rock Marciano, E40, Method Man, Bad Bunny, Lupe Fiasco, Prodigy, Melly Mel, Takeoff, MIA, Pusha T, Chief Keef, Cardi B, Young Thug, Talib Kweli. From months ago. I think this thing came out in March. We did a couple episodes, I believe, on it when it first came out. Now, to me, the important question is, why are people reacting to it like it's new? And the immediate thought you might have, or the immediate maybe even feeling I had at first was like, oh, why are people this dumb if they don't know that this happened already? But I don't think in this case, I don't think the blame is with people. Well, it is with people, but not for the reason you might think. I think the reason that this list can go around again is because it looks exactly like a list that could come out today from a Forbes or from an Apple or from a Time magazine or from fucking Popular Mechanics or People magazine or shit, even XXL. It looks like you would expect a list to look. And it's because all of these lists, and I mean all of these top rappers of all time lists, even stuff like when people say, who is the big three? All of this shit involves rearranging a list of acceptable names. That's all they are. This doesn't mean anything. These lists functionally mean nothing. And because they mean nothing, all it is a rearranging of the same old names. One thing that strikes me is how much of these people were popular in the early 2000s. Like, if you took off everybody who was popular in the early 2000s, you'd have a couple names from the 90s, and then who's newer than that that's on here? Bad Bunny? Like, that's the best they could do? And I think what that speaks to, right, It's the same reason why television ratings are so split these days, and not just in terms of people cord cutting, but just in terms of there used to be 4 channels, and when there was 4 channels, we lived in more of a monoculture where everybody watched MASH, everybody watched fucking Dallas, whatever, right? Because there weren't that many options. This list and most of these lists are representative of that sort of monoculture thinking. Like, who are the rappers that most people would recognize? Because the rappers that most people will recognize are not necessarily the rappers that people are actually listening to. And so you can't really have a list like this that makes sense. There's something akin to this. There's something connective to this about Drake's lawsuit with UMG, right? And because there are some people who swear that what Drake is trying to do is something good for all of the musicians, and trying to make things more fair. We all know that's bullshit. But the one interesting thread to that for me is that people inside hip hop culture, or sometimes people just adjacent to it, they always talk about the culture, what the culture feeling. I thought that was the weirdest. To me, that was the weirdest bar from the whole beef. For me, Kendrick said, I'm what the culture feeling. Because I think the idea that there's a hip hop culture in direct connection to popular rappers, I think that's a lie. I think a culture is something that spreads from person to person based on values of a particular group of people. You don't have, like, we don't have a culture, and this is what I'm saying is interesting about Drake's lawsuit to me. We don't have a hip hop culture on a mainstream level without the influence and interference and intertwining with the music industry. We don't have that. We have an industry selling personas, and their success is based on how much they can get all of us to believe that whoever they say is the top or the hottest is the top or the hottest. Nobody that I know, and I don't think there's anybody I could even think of, that has the ability to create a truly popular piece of hip hop media, and that's whether it's a song or a video. The closest thing that does exist is like this stuff, like talking on Twitch or talking on YouTube. But within the musicians, within the culture of hip hop musicians, you can't become one of these people. You can't become one of these people without the industry. You can't. I remember reading something one day where it was saying that to get a song mainstream radio play, it cost $250,000. That's just for one song. Because the industry is not based on merit. It's not based on how good a song is. It's based on, like, it is based to some degree on quality, right? Like if UMG made an AI artist and he made a rap song that was just like, was literally just like a bunch of fart noises, and then they paid the 250 grand, it would probably flop. Like everybody would hear it, but it would probably flop. So there is some quality component to it, but it doesn't reach the level of cultural ubiquity without the industry. So I don't think we can have a talk about what the culture's feeling if we're not including where the industry puts its thumb on the scale. Conversations without that make empty lists like this that don't mean anything. The reason we can't have a real list is because we can't talk about resources. We can't talk about industry trickery and fuckery. We can't talk about payola. Like if this list was the top 50 cars of all time, right? Like it wouldn't just be a random list of cars that people, of names of cars that people recognized. It would have to be more narrow. It would have to be a list based on some sort of actual metric. It can be the fastest cars of all time. It could be the most luxurious cars of all time. It could be the top selling cars of all time. But we don't want to put things in terms of an actual functional hierarchy, because what that does is tie the quality or impact of the artist to the business in ways that UMG does not want. For instance, and I'm just saying UMG because they're in the news right now. Like it's easy to hold up UMG, and they also control a lot of the industry. But we can't have real lists. Like people say the big three, and they'll just name three people that are all in Universal, one way or another. Then there's the big three what? The big three richest, the big three most popular, the big three best hit making in accordance with integration into the industry machine. Like what are the conversations we are having? Again, to me, and I have something longer that I'm going to ultimately try to figure out how to say about all of this. But what it really comes back to me is touch rap grass. People make lists like this. They don't respect rap enough to actually listen to it and have their own thoughts and opinions. They don't. They take what's been put in front of them by the industry, and they either, they rock with it or they don't. We have to get past this. We have to get past this. We have to get past low effort, low information presentations of shit like this stamped by outlets. We have to get away from this. We can no longer validate the opinions of people who do not actually engage with the music. We can't. Their opinions don't matter. Like, I want to go as far as to say we got to stop this shit from happening. Like, we got to clown these people out of existence. Because when all you're doing is presenting a list of the exact same names remixed, you sound like a clown. And we have to make it not okay to sound like a clown when you're talking about rap music. We have to make that not okay. Just like if you were talking about cars, you'd be a fucking idiot. You would look like a fourth grader if you just listed top 50 cars of all time. Honda, Jaguar, Lincoln. You'd sound like an idiot. We have to make it not okay to sound like an idiot when talking about rap music. Because rap is not a dumb thing. Rap music fans are not dumb people. And shit like this just reinforces that notion over and over again. Like, I'm tired of the bar being so low that people accept shit like this and think it's real because it looks real. That's the problem. It looks real. It looks like somebody in an office in Manhattan got all of their staff together and told them to make a list of 50 in a week that the publication could stand behind. And some people were texting their nieces and nephews, and some people were looking at their Spotify's and they were trying to put all these names together, and they had mandates like, we got to make sure there's more female representation here, and we got to make sure that there's more regional representation here, and all of these fucking things has got nothing to do with what people actually think about the music that's being made. Or if it's not music, what they think about what's being written by these rappers, what they think about what's being recorded by these rappers, what they think about how these rappers perform. All these things are different skill sets. So if you're saying the top 50 rappers of all time, what do you mean? Like, this is fucking, I'm sorry. I literally got so angry I just spit. This is fucking nonsense. It's nonsense. And it's like, my position, my goal here is not, everybody go listen to the underground. That's not true. That's not realistic for everybody. Everybody's not going to like what the underground has to offer. Like, that's fine. That's fine. Like, that is not where I want to see things. I just want, I want engagement with the genre of hip hop to require more education and respect than this. That's what I want. I want the listeners and fans and lovers of hip hop to demand more education and respect than this. And we, obviously we do need to think about the industry, understand how the industry works, understand how the industry influences the choices that we have. But there is a world of rap music that exists. There's a complex interaction of skill sets that can push a person to be in the highest echelons of what this thing can be. And we have to be really accurate in how we think about these things and how we talk about these things, so that we don't, so that Forbes knows that they're out of their depths. Forbes has to know that. They have to know that they're out of their depths. They have to know that they can't swim in these waters. They don't have the experience. They don't have the acumen to swim in these waters. And again, I'm going to have more to say about that at some point. Like, I feel like I have a fucking, like, I got a script I got to write or something, like a video essay. Like, I just have so much to say to this idea of people needing to touch rap grass. But the fact that this list went around again this week and that people are affected by it emotionally, I just thought that's really fucking fascinating and really symptomatic of how far we have to go in having hip hop conversations. Like and subscribe, homie, friend. It's free. Stop playing.